Hi, welcome to the new episode of Sportsy. Let's aim sports. Today we have with us Kunal Thakkar. Kunal is an ex-national level tennis player and now is in coaching for last 18 years. His academy is currently training over 1,000 students all over Mumbai, and he is favorite with many national level players and celebrities including Leander Paes, Vishal Bharadwaj, Masaba Gupta, Shashank Menon, Sonali Bendre, Himesh Reshammiya, Riya Pillai, to name a few. The professional expertise of Kunal, coupled with passion for the sport, has turned his dream into turning tennis into a very popular sport and his own baby, Tennis Premier League, widely acclaimed tournament. The Tennis Premier League brings the first of its kind aim to cater to the growing popularity of tennis and gives a platform to the nation's young talent. It also equips them with the confidence to battle the global competition. The league has witnessed 3 very successful seasons in starting 2018. All the top ranked players of India participate and the best coaches of the country mentor their respective teams. Along with the support of famous celebrities, this is undoubtedly one of the biggest tennis event in India. Initiated by Sky Gold Sports Private Limited in association with AITA and MSLTA, along with support of Leander Paes, Tennis Premier League had fabulous 3 seasons and they're looking forward to more and more years and more seasons to come. So please welcome Tennis Premier League founder and promoter Kunal Thakkar discussing Tennis Premier League off the court with us. Hi Kunal, it's great to have you on Sportsy. Let's talk sports.
Thank you, Sid, for having me.
It was delayed, but not. But we finally made it happen. So it's actually my bad when we had to cancel it last time. But I think the time is always.
I'm glad that you're finally having this chat.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to the chat because we had amazing tennis players coming on it. But hearing from you, who his journey is from tennis player to a coach, handling a successful academy, and founding a Tennis Premier League, which is the premium property in India, I think that journey is something so amazing that we want to hear from you. Let's start with shooting my first question to you, Kunal. From a player to coach to a league owner, how has that journey been, and what actually prompted you to get into commercial side of sport as a league when you have a successful academy with over 1,000 kids playing across Mumbai?
So when I used to play, I was at the same age with Rohan and Sania and all, and that time we had very few academies in India. And tennis that time was not very popular. I'm talking about say 1990s. Tennis was not that popular at that time. And whenever you said tennis, a lot of people would think that you're a table tennis player. And that was the time when you had to tell people about tennis. And it's been a great journey for the sport. I would say that from being related to table tennis. Now, when you say tennis, the first thing comes to your mind is tennis. And I think a lot of credit for that does go to Leander, Mahesh and Sanya. Like when we were playing, we were seeing Leander go up the ladders, and that's what he was the icon for us, and we wanted to all be like him. So I would first like to thank Leander and Sanya, for making tennis so popular in India. And because of them, I got into tennis, and because of Leander, I wanted to be the next Leander. And I remember when I was in Bombay, we used to travel for 2 hours from my house to Shivaji Park just to play, because there were not many courts in Bombay that time. There were not many tournaments happening in India that time. So yeah, as a player that time, it was a bit of a difficult situation, I would say, to play tennis. But I was lucky that there was a corporate, Roofit Industries, who spotted me that time and supported me. They sponsored me. I was fortunate to have great coaches like Nandan sir. I was training with Nandan sir that time. So, but yes, we had to travel a lot. There were a lot of difficulties as a player, and there were no international tournaments that time. So when we had to play an international tournament, you had to go abroad. That time there was no internet was not so easy, and when you would travel abroad, it'd be difficult for an Indian to travel abroad, and used to be scared to go abroad. So that was a journey. And then when I went abroad finally, due to my sponsors, and I was training in Spain with Altru and Alvarino, and it's that time one of the best academies in Spain. And it's a very funny incident. They asked me to play a set with a I was 18 that time. I was doing pretty well. I was like in the top 5 in the country in under 18 and winning all these tournaments in India and all. And I used to think I'm a great player. I had a sponsor backing me, and I was known in India. So I went to Spain, and very few people that time used to go abroad. It's a very big thing that you're going abroad to play tennis. I never forget this incident, that it was an eye opener, and they asked me to play a set with a girl who was 14-year-old, and a Russian girl. Yeah, she was tall, and I played, and the score was 6 love.
Oh, wow.
And Dinara Safina was the player.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that time she was a 14-year-old, and then obviously she went on to become a very big player. So that was an eye opener, that even though I was so good in India, I was losing to a 14-year-old girl 6 love. And that's when I realized, I need to go back and think about doing something now. So yeah, I came back, and that's how actually I would say that from a player, I thought that now I need to get into coaching. And I started very early. I started coaching when I was 19, because I realized that somewhere I was wrong all these years. Shouldn't be saying that, but that time there was not much education about physical fitness or recovery. We were not educated about all that, and that's what I learned over there. That after paying so much money, when I went there for training, rather than making me play tennis, they used to make us do a lot of physical fitness. So that's the reason my academy I started, and till now it's called Kunal Thakkur Tennis and Fitness Academy. Because every batch I made sure that after a 1 hour session of tennis, even if it was a beginner, you have to do 20 minutes of physical fitness, because that is what I had learned internationally, that our players are very good. In fact, like even now our players are very good, but we already had success in doubles.
Correct.
And of course, one of the reasons is that they are more faster than us for singles. So that's the reason I learned that fitness was much more important than playing tennis.
Correct.
And we used to have a 1 hour tennis session and 20-minute physical fitness session. So that's how I started my academies. I became a coach. And then from 1 to 2 to 3, now I have 5 academies in Mumbai, and trying to, educate the kids and give them the best training that we can give.
Right.
Then after a few years of coaching, after my academy started doing very well, I would see that a lot of kids picked up tennis. They played tennis, but eventually they would drop out. And I thought that what is the one thing that could keep them, in tennis? And that is where I realized that, like, IPL, when IPL happened, a lot of people started playing cricket, because even if you don't play for the Indian team, you get to play for IPL.
Right.
So it was a very big dream, I would say. Yeah, but then I thought, why not have a tennis league? And the idea was that you start a league end of the year, where the entire year a player is excited to play in a league, where you're giving them that atmosphere of playing in a stadium. You're showcasing their talent on TV, giving them that level, the marketing and the exposure that they need, and giving them a lot of prizes, giving them money, giving them sponsorship, making them meet celebrities. We were lucky that a lot of celebrities came in and supported the league. So like we have always Leander's support, and he's the guiding force behind the league. We had Sonali, Bendre, Rakulpreet Singh, we had Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, who came in for the inauguration. So for these kids, for these young kids, we also support the wheelchair players. So when the wheelchair players who came for the first year, they keep sending me messages that, sir, this is the best day of our life. Because when Aishwarya Rai Bachchan felicitates them, yes, it's a great motivation for them. Right. So that is how the league started. And, we thought that we need to do something which will keep the interest of the kids and the players alive in tennis, and build it into a team sport. Like, tennis being an individual sport, it gets a little boring sometimes. Yeah. But when you play for a team and an event like Tennis Premier League, yeah, it keeps you motivated.
It's amazing journey, and I think it's at a very young age, you actually having the realization is pretty important, and that shows the maturity of taking responsibility, taking charge of situations. So because as you said, right, 1920 you started your
I started coaching when I was 19.
Yeah, and you're still young, and you're coaching over 1,000 kids right now across Mumbai, across different 5 cities. And you also touched on a very important point about dropping out, because that's what I was going to ask you, that tennis is something which is still not considered to be a mass sport. It is like a lot of people are playing, a lot of kids are playing, but it is not something like you can go and play anywhere easily. It is accessibility of tennis still becomes an issue. You need to have a designated area and all those things for tennis. So how do you think that you actually have seen the growth of Indian tennis from the accessibility perspective?
So like I told you, when I used to play, I used to go to Shivaji Park. From
Correct.
Andheri to Shivaji Park, 2 hour drive, because there were no courts. And now I would say in Andheri itself, we have 500 courts.
Okay.
Because there are so many academies that have come in. There are so many clubs that have come in. There are so many buildings that have tennis courts now. So that's a great step towards making it more accessible.
Okay.
Because if you don't have tennis courts, how do you see tennis players? But when you
Right.
have a tennis court in the building, when a kid sees the tennis court, he will definitely go and play in the building. From the building, he will come to the academy. From the academy, he will go and represent the country. So that's the inroads that we are seeing now.
Interesting. You spoke about the communities having. I think the developers are selling it as a fancy stuff, but actually it's making an impact towards making tennis more accessible. But do you think that we are there now with a number of coaches that we need? Because at any given time we talk about India having dearth of 10,000 coaches across sports. So when kids want to take it seriously, that okay, how do you think the standard of coaching going up as well? And because you also have matured in coaching, because a 19-year-old starting coaching and now at this age growing in the whole ladder, how do you think the maturity of coaching system in India has grown up? Because we have seen as you train Nandan, then Bendre sir having his academy, and we have other academies in Hyderabad and Bangalore and everything. So in that ecosystem, how do you think it is growing?
So I feel one major issue that we have is that even though we have so many tennis courts, most of these tennis courts are owned by clubs or they're owned by societies. So like you said, I don't feel we have a lack of coaches. We have very good coaches, and a lot of players who are ex-players have now turned into coaching. But the problem that I see them facing is that they don't get the tennis courts that they want. For example, an ex-player who's, I don't want to name, I know a junior who's a national champion from Mumbai. Very recently, he started coaching, but for him to get a tennis court is difficult. So I called him. I said, "See, my club is always open for you. I'll take permission from 10 to 3 is the off timing when the members don't play. You come and use it." So if like I was speaking to somebody, they have courts in Canada on the ground, like you have cricket over here.
Yeah.
See, for cricket, you don't need any permission. You don't need to be a member of any club. You take a bat, you take a ball, you go on the ground and play. So till we don't have that, till we don't have say 6 tennis courts on a BMC ground, which is open for the public, it is not actually accessible.
Correct.
Because even though we have tennis courts, you need to be a member of a club. You
Right.
need to have a flat in a big society. So till we don't have these kind of tennis courts, it will still not be very accessible for the common man, I would say.
And okay, we are talking about place like Mumbai, which is a very much metro, and it's a different place. But now, if you look at India as a whole, the number of tennis players for so many years, like 31 years, we spoke about Leander. Then out of that are almost 25 years out of that, we also had Mahesh part of it. Then last 15 years has been Sania being part of it. Yuki Bhamri, we heard in between. Now we heard Nagal. So the players are there. Ankita is India's number one and trying to make her mark. So there are players, but if you look at whole as a India, I think we have a capacity to have at least 100 professional players at any given time, but we don't see that. What is the biggest reason if you look at India as a whole?
See, I would say, of course, corporate support.
Okay.
Because tennis, like everybody knows, is an expensive sport. So for a lot of kids who are talented, for them to get that kind of ranking, they need backing. You know, Sumit Nagal is backed by one of the biggest companies, a sports company.
Right.
So when that comes in, half your pressure is gone, and then you can focus on your game. You can focus on your fitness. I know so many players who are right now struggling only how to make ends meet. If they have to go for a tournament, to bear the expenses, whether to go for the tournament or not to go. So once you get the pressure out of these guys, we have a lot of talented players in India. And like the whole world knows, Indians are more intelligent.
Yeah.
We are right now, if you see, I don't think we lack anything other than the correct support, I would say, for our players. And I was speaking to a few players during TPL, and it's a very different topic, but a lot of athletes now, a lot of sports people now are very active on Instagram, are very active on social media, and it is a brand that you're building, which is a part of your job. Because as an athlete, it is your business. You're in the profession. So for that, you need marketing. For that, you need to do Instagram, whatever small things you need to do for your marketing. And very correctly one player told me that, sir, for you, it's very easy to say that, you should be active. But for me, every Wednesday when I lose a match in the second round, when I'm disheartened, I need to plan my Friday. How do I get to the next city? How do I manage my finances? So my mindset is not of how I can build a brand. My mindset is how I sustain my next 3 weeks.
Right. And
So
yeah,
that is how.
it's pretty disheartening. Like I don't know, it's a journey, tough journey of our athletes that we get to see. How do you think that your wish list when you want to make a change in the whole thing?
So I would, I don't know, being very optimistic. I feel if TPL grows in the next 5 years, which we aim to do it, you know, it will change the entire scenario, because the kind of money we want to raise for our players, even now in 2021, during the pandemic, we were able to raise around 1 crore for the players. Let aside the event. If we can raise 1 crore in this situation, next 5 years down the line, if we can make this 1 crore into 10 crores, and if we pump in 10 crores to the players,
Yeah.
this money will come in handy for them to travel more. This money will come in handy for them to get better coaches when they are traveling, and eventually they will do better.
Yes. Interesting, because I was there in December when the whole event, the inauguration happened. I was there at the venue, and the way the players were getting adjusted to the whole thing, I think it was pretty good. It was a nice equalizer. At one side, they could see the stars like Leander and Sania sitting on the stage as team owners and promoters, but at the same time sitting with their own team. You said that making tennis a team sport. It was an amazing thing. Those couple of hours I spent there, I think it was so good, and I'm sure that there's an amazing journey ahead of you for TPL, and you touched upon a topic about the vision for TPL. But when you want to do these activities, it is not a one person doing it. You have your amazing partner who supports you in the whole journey. You have a support, you build it over time support with AITA and MSLTA. So how do you think the federation and corporate and your own partner in your business coming together towards with the same dream of taking it to the next level?
So my partner Mrunal, even though he's not a tennis player, he's so passionate about the sport, and that is why when we go for a meeting and people feel that this person who's not a tennis player and is so passionate and wants to grow the sport, and that is what excites them, and they're like, we are being from the tennis fraternity, we have to do something about it. And now I'm telling you, things are changing. Like Mr. Sundar Iyer, who
Yes.
is the secretary of MSLTA and also the joint secretary of AITA, he's doing so many tournaments in India and in Maharashtra. We have 3 ITFs that happen every year, right before the league. Then he's planning a WTA now. In fact, I met him a couple of days back. And there are so many, like the Tata Open happens in Pune. So they are planning so many tournaments. And now I would say, luckily, we've all come together. Even be it the AITA, MSLTA, us as a league, or the coaches like, Mr. Nandan Bal, Dishan Ali, Narendra Nath, all these are top coaches and, players of India who've come together, and we've all realized that we need to bring about a change.
Right.
And now, till we don't come together, we'll not be able to get the kind of result that we want for tennis. That's the reason our tagline also said, bigger, stronger, and together this year. So MSLT has been very supportive, and in fact, few days back, he's opened all the doors for us. He said, you want to do the league in Pune, you can do it in Pune, you can do it in Delhi, you can do it in Goa. So MSLT, AITA, they are coming up with a lot of plans now to promote the sport and help the players.
Yeah, and I think that's why I asked, because I mean, on this very own platform, as I said, I got to host Ankita and Rutuja on the platform, and I also had the opportunity to host Sundar Iyer. So Sundar, Sundar sir was also on the platform few months back, and he was talking about the whole the tennis side. It was during the pandemic when everything was closed. It was my first season. He was there in the first. Now we are almost at 120 episodes, but that was I was on some 20-25 episode when he came, and he was talking about what are the plans that they have, and we could go and see the Tata Open. I was there at watching it. It is amazing when you see all this thing coming along, and I think we feel that okay, it's going in the right direction, but from the TPL perspective, that you're having so many tournaments happening before TPL in India, so players are getting the exposure, people are playing outside. How do you think that the stars, they're already helping, right? The support of, you said, Leander or Sania, who are already team owners and part of the promotion thing, have actually, these people have helped bringing tennis to people that, okay, there is a sport in India called tennis and we have the stars and we have amazing talent. So how do you keep having that infusion in your coaching career or in your coaching academy about these people? How are they contributing?
So see, now when you, like I told you, when I was playing, I wanted to be Leander. Correct. Now, when Leander comes in and he meets these kids or he gives these tips, so they have one hero to look up to.
Yeah.
So if you, Leander is a name which will get you the kind of, I would say, reach in tennis. Now, if tennis Premier League happens, it is only because of Leander Paes. If you get Leander Paes out of the league, how do we do the league? So he, I think, is the biggest motivation, and he, without doing anything, him just coming and being there for the sport, is going to do everything for you.
Excellent.
Even coaching wise, all my academies, my Goregaon Sports Club Academy that I started in 2009 was inaugurated by Leander Paes.
Okay.
Tennis Premier League in 2018 was inaugurated by Leander Paes. Celebration Club Academy was inaugurated by Leander Paes. So he gives you the start.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for tennis, Leander is very important.
Yeah, and obviously it's like the biggest name for Indian tennis, right? One Olympic, the first year Olympic single medal after 44 years for India. Then after that, 18 Grand Slams. I think
18 Grand Slams is not a joke, yeah.
It's not a joke, and I like and it's not only about that. You also mentioned about something at the start about the physical fitness. The guy who is like longevity of his career, 992 the junior Wimbledon.
I remember him telling me that I've done 7 Olympics.
Yes.
So 7 into 4, 28 years of his life. He played Olympics, which no other tennis player has ever done
in the world. Yeah, it's 96 to till Rio 2016.
And I think he would do one more if the pandemic wouldn't have happened.
But I think still he will hold that record forever of one tennis player doing 7 Olympics. I think that is so amazing, and it shows the guy the grit, determination, and everything. And that is something that we can take it out. Like in India, we talk about cricket from Kapil Dev to Tendulkar to Ganguly and everything, but we need those heroes and sheroes coming out of tennis.
I think that is where we are lacking now. That we need one name to, one kid or one player to do really well the way these guys have achieved.
Yeah.
And that by saying that, we mean a Grand Slam. We need to see an Indian playing a semi-final of a final of a Grand Slam. That is the only way, and that's what we've been discussing for the last 3 months. Like whenever we have a meeting in AITA, MSLTA, that yes, it looks difficult now, but if we start now, we'll be able to achieve it. And if that doesn't happen, then the sport is in trouble.
Exactly. And I think that is, you said very well. And that's what my last question is about how do you see the parents and the coaches, parents and the kids adapting to the whole thing? Because we always see that parents want quick results. अरे ये खेल रहा है, आगे क्यों नहीं जा रहा है, ये आगे क्या करेगा? All those things. There are so many questions that parents are more inquisitive than the kid. So I was talking to Sharad Kamal, that table tennis is great, right? He said a parent can wait for 18 years for kid to be an engineer, but they want the athlete in one day.
Correct. Very true. Very, very well said.
And you've been dealing with 1,000 parents, right? 1,000 kids, you are dealing with 1,000 different parents. So
and now the issue is that there's always a pro and con. They say so. The plus point with internet is that you have so much information, and the drawback is now every parent has now, because of this information, become a coach.
Yes.
So I would just say to every player that when you have a coach, obviously he is well educated and he has something in mind. So let them do their job, because I face this every day in my academy where my coaches come and tell me, sir, they don't give us a chance to train because they are training more than us and they know everything now. So that's become one issue now.
So okay, so what is your message to the parents out there about kids making careers in tennis and at having the potential to make a career in tennis?
I would say one simple thing, that by pushing the kid is not going to become a champion. The kid will only become a champion if he wants to become a champion. You can only help him, you can only guide him, you can only support him. You cannot push him, because that is not going to last. If you push the kid, eventually the kid will drop out. So, and also, like, a major if you tell me one issue with Indian players is what I see in Bombay, especially when one under 14 player comes to play a tournament, there will be 3 people coming with him. There will be a driver, there will be a maid, there will be a parent. So that is not good because you're not making the kid independent. And when a player from a small city is coming, I have seen this myself in one of the tournaments. That kid will come alone, will defeat all our pampered kids and go back quietly. So that is what we need to do. Leave the kid independent. Let them learn. You say, na, till you don't fall, you will not learn. So
Correct.
that we need to, of course, work on as parents and, like leave it to the coaches. Like when we were playing, we used to travel, 8 of us to travel with one coach. But that doesn't happen now. Very rarely you will see 8 kids with one coach. Now every parent wants to come with their kid.
Right.
So you're making the kids dependent. You have to make them independent, I feel.
I think very important message that you just spoke about, right? Making the kid independent, getting them the value that they need to fight it out. It's not going to come easy their way, and at the same time, let kids follow their own passion and pushing is not going to work out. It's not going to go beyond a certain point. I think it's very important in the whole thing, and with so many things that you have and experience, I think the parents will and take it from you as a national level player yourself, coach and coaching, talking to almost 1,000 parents at any given time. I think this is something very important, and you have made a platform available for Indian kids to have play tennis at competitive level before they can take the next step. I think it is wonderful journey, Kunal. Kudos to you. More than happy to have association anywhere, anyhow that I can support, because finally we are here to make India a sporting nation. It's a dream, and I'm sure we are not far away, but it just has to inch by inch, as they say. We have to go that way, and I think your work is amazing. I'm sure that the corporates will pitch in, and in 5 years we see TPL as one of the most prominent property in Asia or in the world.
Let's hope so.
Yes, thank you,
So
Kunal.
much.
It's amazing to have you.
Thank you so much.
Let's take care and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, and thank you for sharing. But please do subscribe to our channel Sportsy Says and help us spread the word about Sportsy. We go with the same handle Sportsy Says across all the social media platforms and podcasts. Please don't forget to press the bell icon.